podium and begin your presentation.
Good afternoon. I'm thrilled to be here. Every time I travel to Seoul, it's an amazing city, and it's really a great opportunity to speak to all of you today. The one thing I don't like, though, when I come here is the trip from the airport to the hotel. At a recent trip, not this one because I got arrived at 4 a.m. so there wasn't too much traffic today. But I was staying at a hotel around here, and that trip from Incheon to the hotel, which is something like 60 kilometers, took me almost 90 minutes. Maybe it was more than 90 minutes, which is a really long time to go a relatively short distance in the big scheme of things. But really, we have this experience all the time. The UN estimates that today, 55% of the global population lives in urban areas and projects that by 2050, over 70% of the world's population will be urbanized. So that means the choking traffic that's a problem today, and maybe an annoyance or a nuisance, will get almost unimaginably worse with time. It's not getting better. To put some numbers on it, in the San Francisco Bay Area alone, which is where Joby Aviation is based, commuters waste something like 360 million hours per year sitting in traffic. If you look at just the top 15 cities in the United States, we're talking about 4.6 billion hours wasted in traffic per year. The costs are staggering too. And it's not just the costs in dollars or money, it's the cost in the environment as well. So something like 29% of global emissions, CO2 emissions, come from the transportation sector, and passenger vehicles are a significant portion of that. But at the same time, if we take a step back, it's kind of hard to imagine a world that doesn't have cars. They're just a part of our daily life. It's something that we use all the time. But a little over 100 years ago, this is a picture from Fifth Avenue in New York City. On the left, you'd be hard-pressed to find the car in that photo. On the right is 13 years later. And you'd be hard-pressed to find the horse in that photo. Sometimes change can happen fast, and something that's extraordinary can become ordinary. I think we're on the cusp with UAM of that type of a change. That we're going to see flying cars be something that's ordinary, that we use in our everyday lives in the very near future. So maybe that trip from the airport to the hotel, instead of taking 90 minutes, could take something like 15 minutes if we're going through the air. That's what we're building at Joby Aviation. So what is Joby? Joby is actually more than one thing. We're building an aircraft to provide this mission. We're building a service to deliver that mission to people who want to use it in their daily lives. And we're building a next generation aviation company that wraps this all up. And I'll get to why that's really critical and important in just a little bit. So this is our aircraft. This is our air taxi. It's all electric, vertical takeoff and landing, 4 seats plus a pilot. As we heard in the introduction, that this will start as a professionally piloted operation. This vehicle can fly up to 320 kilometers per hour and go up to 160 kilometers on a single mission. And it's really quiet. But it's not a helicopter. Just to be clear, helicopters are outdated. Helicopters are loud and they're unreliable. This is a new type of technology that combines the efficiency of electric flight with the efficiency of an aircraft to make a totally new way to take off and land vertically and access daily trips in a way that's economical as well as environmentally conscious, all with 0 emissions. And it's quiet. So it's much more the sound of trees rustling, wind in the leaves, as opposed to the traditional sounds that you might hear from aircraft. To show this, hopefully the sound works, I've got a video that we took a couple years ago. This is 5 aircraft, 5 small aircraft in different variations, flying over a single point with a calibrated microphone. We fly our aircraft over it at the end. You can kind of hear the difference tangibly. So this is the power of the new technology that we're building. But we weren't just satisfied with our own tests with a calibrated microphone this way. We actually worked with NASA in late 21 to be the first company to fly under the NASA national campaign. We flew our aircraft back and forth over an array of 50 microphones that NASA put out in a quiet field. In fact, they had to bring in special lawnmowers at the government rate, which is quite expensive, to mow down the grass so that you could actually hear our airplane, and the microphones would pick up the right sound. They then built a model out of this called an acoustic hemisphere that we can then take and model our aircraft in different environments and validate our design builds, showing that we have a 100 times smaller acoustic footprint compared to a typical helicopter or an equivalent helicopter, and the way we interact over cities. And in a place like New York City, where this simulation was run, this is a really big deal, because there are a lot of problems with the noise caused by helicopters in the urban environment. And because our aircraft are quiet, they can fit into the environment, we can build beautiful skyports like this, with minimal investment in infrastructure compared to the alternative. Because it's really important that we are able to build out a network of skyports in the right way so that we can connect communities. So every new skyport that you add into a network actually connects you to all the existing ones. It's way more efficient than building out tunnels and bridges and roads, the infrastructure costs that are so typical of ground-based infrastructure that we're familiar with. So we're going to deliver this in a service, like I mentioned, in key markets like the US and with partners in other markets. We are going to, just like we would hail a UT or a taxi today, you'll be able to hail our service in an app. So what if a trip, think about a trip like this. This is an example in New York City. So say you open up your app and you hailed a Joby. An Uber comes and picks you up right where you are at your door, takes you to the skyport, the nearest skyport in downtown. You get on one of our aircraft right there that's actually at the heliport in downtown Manhattan. And then we fly you to JFK to get on your flight. We land right at the terminal. You're able to drop down right off the skyport at the terminal into the Delta Lounge and be on your way seamlessly. That trip that can take over an hour in a car can take just 7 minutes in a Joby aircraft. Fortunately, we have some great partners in our go-to-market, both strategic partners and investors in both Uber and Delta, to bring this seamless door-to-door journey to life. And it's not just New York City. We think there's incredible opportunity here in Seoul as well. In fact, there's more trips per day in Seoul than there is in the greater New York area. This is the opportunity that we have to connect cities in these new ways. And so we partnered with SK Telecom to bring this service, bring this type of opportunity of flying on a daily basis to life here in Korea. And we're coming sometime soon as part of the KUN Grand Challenge at GC1, which is starting. So people really don't like to be stuck in traffic. It's one of the things that ranks highest in the unhappiness list of what you do on a daily basis. If you could get that time back, if you could have that hour and a half back that so many people spend a day in traffic, what would you do with it? What would you do with that extra time? Would you spend it with your family and your friends? Would you read more? Would you invent more? Really, this is all about productivity. Every revolution in technology brings incredible enhancements in productivity. And I think that's why this is such an exciting field. This is such an exciting opportunity for people, not just here in Korea, but all around the world. This idea of UAM or flying cars or air taxis, the opportunities for productivity are nearly endless. And it's really, really exciting to think about connecting corporate campuses to entertainment or retail locations to entertainment zones like stadium complexes and amusement parks. What if getting there was as inspiring as being there? That's what we're trying to achieve. And it lets us then think about how do you redesign cities? How do you take what could be a concrete jungle in a place like Los Angeles, and instead of building more and more freeways, what if you could reclaim some of the freeways and actually make it green again, but still maintain the connectivity that you have to the other parts of the city, the other parts of the city? One of the things that's best about being at Joby is I get to show this amazing machine and show how inspiring it is. Seeing really is believing. And so hopefully all of you will get a chance to see and experience this sometime in the near future. It's really a magical experience to see this type of technology fly and not hear it, which is really fun. So in the last 12 months, we've already flown in New York City, as I mentioned. We've delivered our first aircraft to the US DoD up at Edwards Air Force Base. We're doing some initial work with them. We actually are ramping up at the end of this year to be producing one aircraft per month out of our pilot production facility in Marina, California. We're well on our way to building that aircraft, that service, and all of those pieces, all of the certification of the constituent technology that makes this next generation aviation company. And this platform actually is really important. We're building this platform to certify this next generation of aircraft technology, the electrification of flight. We're starting with our air taxi. Now, take a step back. When we think about contextualizing this relative to cars, we're kind of in the early days of what it was like to start in that car revolution. Because when we first started building cars, at first we built ones or twos or dozens, and then we built hundreds, and we built thousands, and we built tens of thousands of cars. And then we scaled up even further from there. And I really think we're at that cusp when it comes to this UAM electrified aircraft technology of that same type of growth that we saw in the automobile industry. So that dream, that opportunity to make daily flying cars, getting to work or to go do something fun in an amazing new way, it's on the cusp of being real. And it's really exciting. And I think I can just end right there, but I don't want to end there because I want to say one more thing about what's amazing about this platform that we're building. Because it just starts here, it doesn't end here. I think the future is going to be even more sci-fi perhaps than we think. Because by building this platform to certify and to electrify flight, we have an opportunity to do something really remarkable and refresh a whole new way of thinking about designing and building airplanes. We're building this capability to build flight computers that are smaller than an iPhone, to build these highest specific torque electric motors, which are the secret sauce when it comes to low noise flight. Joby's building all of this and all of the materials and processes to build incredibly lightweight composite aircraft. These are the fundamental capabilities that we're building out. Because then we can take the next step. This is our small R&D team that we have in Germany that just last year flew the world's first piloted liquid hydrogen fueled aircraft. Liquid hydrogen is really exciting because what it does allows us to build on that idea of electrification. So all of those constituent parts that we're certifying for our air taxi are necessary for taking the next step. Because when you add in a new and more energy dense fuel source like liquid hydrogen in a fuel cell configuration, you can not just connect cities, but you can start to connect regions. You can start to connect countries with a new form of emissions-free flight. That's where the future is pointing to with the foundation that we're building right now. So really, air taxis, as exciting and amazing and transformational as they are just the start. Fundamentally, we think the most important thing is to connect people with the things that they care about the most, the people and the places that they want to be and they want to be with. So we're excited that the technology foundation we're building, whether or not it's the aircraft piece, the service piece, or the company that rolls this all together, is able to do that, to give you